Checkity check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Check, check. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Atamari, Etifano, it's derby time.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of the 2020 Regional Rumble. You're here with Matt and Sneaks for game 1 of day 2, first of the semi-finals.
Ready to bring you the action.
Wellington versus Southern 1.
And we're off, just like that. Violent Femme is out there jamming for Southern 1. And Flying Kiwi is on the track for Wellington.
And one blocker to get past and takes the lead for Southern. So first blood going to the Southern team. Wellington jammer out now.
Wellington pivot Nachi has taken the star. To no avail because the jam is called off by Violent Femme.
So again, first blood to Southern, getting a sneaky 4 points there. Maybe not. Referee's going to confirm that.
There's a timeout being called.
So how's everybody feeling on the live stream this morning? You're all up, showered, coffeed?
Sleepers for the week.
Yes, it is. And I must admit, last night I was feeling pretty weak. So thanks for joining us early this morning, guys. And hopefully it's another day of great derby action here in the beautiful town of Taupo in the central North Island.
Wilson Boots and Nerdiator will be jamming for Southern 1 and Wellington respectively when we get back up and running.
And of course, if you were watching yesterday, Wilson Boots certainly put on a fantastic display for her team. Let's see what she's got in store for us today. Can she continue that form?
Nerdy's doing a little bit of morning dancing. I happen to know she's not a morning person, but she is a derby person, so we'll see if that cancels it out.
Anything to keep the blood pumping this hour of the morning, I guess.
Absolutely.
What about you, Sneaks? You got some dance skills you can show us through the...
Almost certainly. Flossing is a specialty of mine.
I would do it, but it causes people to leave the stream. Yeah, an absolute disgust. So, of course, as mentioned, this is semi-final number 1 between Southern and Wellington. At 10 o'clock, we will bring you the second semi-final, which will be Bay of Plenty. Up against, who are they up against? I've just completely gone blank.
2 South, 2 Furious.
2 South, 2 Furious, that's right.
I think we're just getting some scoreboard situations and timing situations sorted out here. First bout of the day, sussing out our technology.
Looks like we're all sorted and
making
ready to go.
Sure everything's legit. Hello, Madison, Wisconsin in the US.
Good to see our US friends joining us this morning.
And we're off into the second jam of this game.
And Wilson Boots straight around the outside for Southern and takes control of the jam.
Nerdiator looking for a hole in the outside with some assistance from Flair. That Southern wall does not want to let her out, but she makes it up the line, up the outside, and off she goes.
Wilson Boots tried the big apex jump, but didn't quite land it. Around the outside she goes. But gets tapped out over the sideline, but calls the jam for Southern.
Clear the decks, stepping up for Wellington, up against number 43, Psychedelicat.
So Sneaks, you're obviously a Wellingtonian yourself.
I am a Wellingtonian, born in Waipukaro, Hawke's Bay, raised in Central Otago, Alexandra, and now Te Whanganui Atada is my home.
So you can be the biased commentator towards Wellington, I'll be the biased one towards Southern, and we can have a bit of an argument and a fight.
I shall try to remain neutral at all times, at
No,
least
come
in
on.
my voice. Sometimes my body betrays me and I'll like punch the air.
Well, there we go. Wellington take lead jam for the first time in the game.
And can you hear how neutral I am about that? Well, cool.
Oh, come on, Sneaks. It's early in the morning. Let's get excited.
Get it, Dex, get it.
Yep.
Get some points on the board.
Just don't stand up on the table and dance.
Taking a whip off Filthy there.
And the Southern Jammers finally through. Are we going to see a call here from the Wellington team?
Indeed
Yes.
we are.
So getting a nice sneaky 4 points there. And a 7-5 lead for Southern.
Score is 7 to Southern 1 and 5 to Wellington.
So we line up again on the start line.
It might be Bounty Hunter jamming for Wellington. This is Bounty's first game of the tournament. Wellington has got a deep bench. 2 skaters have to sit off each jam. And unfortunately, Bounty has lost lead heading to the penalty box.
Well, we have seen a panty pass get underway here.
Serious crash unit, the pivot for Southern 1 taking the star and taking a few points.
She's certainly got her beans about her this morning. She's obviously had a week mix. Lights and sirens are blazing as she heads round, scoring points for her team.
Wellington pack hoping to slow the scoring down.
Fighting this Wellington tripod, trying to find a way through.
It is a fearsome tripod of Tino Pai, Tough Bickies and Flying Kiwi, whose birthday it is today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the Kiwi.
Do you think if we yelled that down now, it might put her off?
I apologise. I just said it was Kiwi, but it was actually lens flare. So I'm
not
4-1-4
even off to the penalty box. So the ref's not happy with something there. I didn't quite see the call from the ref.
Nor did I. Bounty back on the track as Southern's jammer gets recycled by Tino Pai.
So both jammers back on the track now. Bounty Hunter easily, almost up the inside and through with a nice little 360 spin on her way. Serious crash unit still coming through for her team. Of course, no lead jammer at this point, so we are going to go the full 2 minutes with only a second to go, so we will get it called. And that's the end of the jam.
Points on the board from both teams there. Southern extending their lead. Wellington doing their best to close it up. Timeout being called.
15.29 jam there with a total score of 22 to Southern, 14 for Wellington.
Officials taking a timeout.
Now, of course, myself, I'm a Speedway follower. And
As am I, my friend.
Come from the Bay of Plenty.
Love a bit of
support the
Speedway.
Rotorua Rebels. So Wellington, our arch enemies through the 90s.
I've really been missing Speedway through the lockdown and COVID restrictions.
Yeah,
and
of course, that season is now underway.
I wanted to get there this weekend, but unfortunately I had a small conflicting issue.
Gee, what was that, Sneaks?
I don't know, some tournament in the middle of nowhere.
Well, we've got to do these things at times, don't we?
We do. Happy to be here. So happy to be here bringing this live derby to
I
you.
can't quite see. The girls are a bit too side on to me to who's jamming
We've got
there.
Flying Kiwi lighting up for Wellington, and that might be Puss in Boots. It is. I see the funky shorts.
027, is it?
Can't see the number. Yes, 027. Puss in Boots. Was in Boots, I apologise. Was. Hit out by Nachi there.
And 2 of the Southern blockers off to the penalty box.
Let's see what Wellington can do with this pack advantage.
So lead jam and pack advantage at this point. A good opportunity to just edge back some of these points that Southern have taken from them.
Birthday girl, Kiwi round the outside.
Wilson Boots on the journey, but the jam is called. So a nice little 4-point hit and quit there by Wellington.
Flying Kiwi, formerly of Croydon Roller Derby and Durham Roller Derby in the UK. We've got a few skaters who have come to us from international leagues. Nachi used to play for Argentina. Defiant comes from Angel City in Los Angeles. There's a few different styles come into the Wellington playbook. Nerdy lining up for Wellington.
You know, certainly brings some international flavour. Last year in Moana, we did have a girl called Maru playing with us from Argentina as well. A very feisty player.
And of course, La Bomba from Spain in the Mana Tangata team. Nerdy calls it off, hoping to make sure that Red couldn't get any points, but they did.
That happened so quick we couldn't even mention that Psychedelic was out there for the first time, jamming at 4 Southern. That was a nice quick little jam, that one. 2-1 score.
Wellington will be disappointed having the lead and getting fewer points by Crikey.
But they're certainly closing it up, 24-19. Only a 5-point gap in it now.
Violent Femme up to jam for Southern. Kiwi back on the track for Wellington.
And she almost charged straight through the middle, but a nice solid wall there by Wellington.
Kiwi fighting on the lines.
Sneak, that was a nice move. Outside, right down onto the inside line, through for lead jam.
Wellington looking to slow down this pack so Kiwi can get through and get those points, and she does.
Violent Femme coming up on the back of the pack now, but the jam has been called and will score no points for Southern. So what's going on in Streamland out there?
People are happy to see some live derby, which they are right to be happy about.
Shout out to the great MCs. Who's that? Someone's looking after your sneaks.
Clear the decks up against Wuss and Boots in this jam. Wuss running into a very solid pack from Wellington, being drawn back by Tino and Bickies.
Fight. This girl has just really has impressed me this weekend. There is just no lack of her fight. Whether she's leading, whether she's trailing, she just does not give up. Very impressed with Wuss and Boots this weekend.
Yellow jammer clear the decks, being recycled by number 22 for red.
Almost through there. One last blocker to get through, and Wuss and Boots is through for lead jam.
As Tino Pai is sent to the bin for Wellington. Didn't see what that penalty was, but she is off the track, so red with the pack advantage. Dex has got the hat off, looking to pass to the pivot, or just looking to confuse things.
Wuss and Boots down on the ground having a quick rest, and
as
straight back into her work.
Oh, as Bickies is also sent to the bin. Tino Pai standing.
I wouldn't blame the few players if they had a quick nap today. It was certainly a long day and a lot of tired bodies.
Absolutely.
But this Wellington team looked pumped up this morning. I was watching their warm-up and they were certainly energised and ready to go. Wuss and Boots still fighting at the back of the pack there. Getting recycled right back down the main straight.
Both jammers having to work hard in this jam.
Oh, on a big pile up there in turn number 1. And Wellington, no.
Clear the decks, picking up a cut track penalty. Have we had a lead assessed yet?
No, we haven't. We're still fighting it out in turn number 1.
Oh, that hurts as a jammer. Only 12 seconds remain. Oh, Wuss, excuse us. Wuss and Boots is the lead.
Oh,
she must have got out front and then recycled.
I tell you, this jam is so sneaky we didn't even notice. Maybe the scoreboard's wrong. We'll go with the scoreboard's wrong. How's that?
Definitely not. I can see the jam ref signalling. So
actually, yes, she did. I was mentioning Smith there as jam ref.
I did caffeinate before I began to commentate today in the correct order, but...
Oh, that's all right. Game 2 I did yesterday. I seriously needed some oxygen from the medical. My brain was not functioning. Hopefully we can do a bit better today.
Psychedelic hat. Lining up.
So power jam start for Southern. So her blockers really need to get in and push these Wellington blockers aside and give her a free path to lead Jam. Having a bit of a powwow there.
28-7, 23 Wellington.
Nice close game so far to start the morning. This is what we want to see.
Hopefully we'll be in for a few of those kinds of games today.
Well, hopefully. I think everyone's still buzzing from our final game last night between the New Zealand men and the Invitational side.
Wasn't that a cracking bout?
That was a fantastic game. Fantastic game. They really, no one deserved to sort of lose that one. Both teams put in an awesome effort.
New Zealand men's roller derby took that bout out by about 30 points in the end, or was it
20 points.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, 161 to 141.
Nice and close.
But it was seesawing all the way through the game. It was only sort of the last 7 minutes or so the men sort of got that lead and managed to hold it.
Psychedelic is ready to go.
So we're having a bit of a powwow in the middle of the track here at the moment.
Powwow, aka official timeout, I think.
They seem to be skating off to their positions, so hopefully we'll be underway any second now. Psychedelic keeping herself nice and warm on the start line. And we've had the jammer come back out on the track for Wellington. She was in the box, so obviously something to do with her penalty.
Indeed, Clear the Decks was in the box, and we've got Kiwi up on the line now. The flying birthday Kiwi, as we call her today.
And away they go.
Takes the inside. As Psychedelic Hat is recycled by Nachi.
Tripod has her wrapped up in the start of turn one there at the moment.
Flying Kiwi is our lead jammer, flying around the track.
Come on, Sneaks, that's Wellington. Get excited.
I am excited internally. I remain professional as Kiwi deftly moves around the inside.
Oh, well, at least that
on
makes
turn
one
one.
of us.
I'm a
Psychedelic.
derby fan first and foremost, you know.
Exactly. And Psychedelic looks like she's been sent off to the box, so we're under power jam conditions.
Interesting. Bionic Ninja going for the hit on the outside.
So are we going to see Wellington take the lead for the first time this morning?
Will there be a lead change?
I think we're going to see it. We have.
We have indeed. Wellington in the lead.
Up the inside she goes. The
Hitting.
final two blockers managing to hold it. No, she's through. Wellington bench are quite ecstatic about that.
Kiwi working, getting some offense from Filthy and Defiant
One blocker to go, but they're coming through.
and Harm Assist. Bit of a waterfall defense.
Oh, and straight up
here.
the inside goes Psychedelic.
Kiwi calls it off. 16 points.
Psychedelic found a lane of her own just then and darted straight up the inside. Now, of course, these two teams played once yesterday, winning their game, obviously, which brought them through to the semi-finals.
Wellington playing Manawa to earn their spot here. Southern won. I can't even remember. When was yesterday?
That was,
it's a distant memory.
Mana Tangata o
It
Aotearoa
was.
they beat.
It was indeed.
So they earned their place in the semi, and of course the winner of this goes through to the grand final. And the loser will go through to third and fourth later this afternoon.
Some appreciation on the stream for Queen of the Dam's stripy outfit. Always like to see a little bit of changing it up on the old. There's some great
Good-
derby fashion here, actually. One of our
Good to see you
NSOs.
knowing the refs and giving them a bit of appreciation and some love, because they certainly deserve it.
They sure bloody will do. You might recognise Velocity from the Northern team.
Yeah, Smith out there too for the Northern team in their ref gear.
I think I can see Mr. Fox. I can. Morning, Mumbo.
So it shows the dedication of some of these players to play in teams during the tournament, to come out and ref, and some of them were even in that exhibition game last night. So you can just imagine the passion these people have inside them. You don't need to imagine, you can see it. Derby is their life for some of these people.
As a skater, it is strange being refereed by skaters that you're also going up against in other games.
Might give you all that more determination to get past them in the game too if they disagree with the reffing.
Indeed. Violent Femme lining up for Southern, and Bounty Hunter hunting some bounties out there.
The Welling tripod at this point has got her well and truly locked up.
Some beautiful dynamic play from the red tripod here
And she's
as well.
off to the bins. We're under power play conditions. Violent Femme has taken a seat.
Bounty looking to get past this last blocker.
And up the inside she goes for lead jam.
Of course, Bounty Hunter is a skater for Remutaka, which is the Upper Hutt Derby team. So doesn't usually skate with many of the skaters on the track today.
Oh, and she is through.
She is.
Yep. She is through, so another 4 points for Wellington.
As a penalty is assessed to Ziggy Stardust.
Southern struggling at the moment with only 2 blockers out there. They need their skaters back out on track.
Wellington will be hoping to extend their lead, of course.
Oh, trips just as she was getting past the blockers on the inside line there. Southern Jammer back out on track. Violent Femme. And she sneaks through as well. We're going to see a call here. Are we going to continue on?
Always trying to get points before calling.
There we go. There's the call.
Nicely done by Bounty Hunter, banking those points.
That's exactly what you want your jammer to get past those blockers. Call it before the opposition jammer can come through to score.
If you've just joined us, welcome to Game 1 of Day 2 of Regional Rumble. Well, it's the first time we've ever held this tournament. Just trying to get some live derby happening.
Certainly hopefully the first of many.
Indeed. It's been really cool to see the sort of league affiliations disrupted and regions coming together to play.
Yep, it has been fantastic.
It's been so interesting. We've got Nerdiator as our lead jammer for Wellington, as Wooden Boots does their best.
So Southern got off to a nice little start, but Wellington have certainly pulled this score back in and have taken a little bit of a comfortable lead at this point.
Batty Longlegs bossing the front of that tripod for Southern.
And is up the inside for lead.
And a multiplayer has been assessed to number 3.
We've had a panty pass through to 404 for Southern.
Nerdy coming to try and get some
That
points.
is Daisy Daggers.
Assisted by Bonnie Collide.
So Daisy having the jam called on her before she could get through to the pack to score.
I think I can see some frustration from Wellington's bench, who was keen to get Nachi released from the penalty box before that jam was called off. You don't really want to start down one if you don't have to. But
Southern is down one as well, so there's still even Stevens.
Indeed.
And they will have their blocker back on track before Southern, so they'll have a slight advantage.
Want to say kia ora to North Carolina. Hello. Thanks for being on the stream.
And through she comes. Lead jam for Southern.
Have we seen Evil Knievel jam today yet?
I think she did one earlier on, but she didn't get lead.
We love to see it. She is so good.
Did a great job for her team yesterday.
She's so exciting to watch on the lines. But not if Sting has anything to do with it.
Oh, almost through up on one, but no, out over the sideline, so she's going to get recycled back to Wellington jammer.
A no pass, no penalty assessed there.
So through she comes.
Which means
Evil Knievel.
no lead jammer.
Smith's sort of holding her arm out, but she didn't blow to announce lead jam, so it has been given to it on the scoreboard. She's asked for the call, and it has been given, so Evil Knievel was given lead jam there for Southern. Clawing back 8 points, 36 to 58. Wellington leading this first semi-final.
Bit of track repair underway here. Some confusion among the officials over a no pass, no penalty. Assessed to clear the decks.
Getting 4 points out of that one as well. So a 36 to 62 score.
Ready for a matchup between Violent Femme and Flying Kiwi.
So if you were tuning in yesterday, you're probably wondering why it's Matt and Sneaks and not Sneak and Drama or Matt and TJ.
Because we want to.
Drama wanted to sleep in. That's basically what it came down to, let's be honest.
I just wanted to chat with Matt, to be honest.
But Matt and TJ will be back for the Bay of Plenty game coming up next at 10 o'clock. It's always fun to do things for the first time together.
Indeed. I love a bit of banter with a different banter pal.
Got my straight face on this morning. The stupidity hasn't quite come out.
Give it time.
I'll leave that for TJ. Got to keep Colin next to us here, interested and giggling. He loves us, really. He does, honest.
Kiwi
Truly.
and Fem ready to roll.
And we're underway again. Violent Fem trying to punch her way through this Wellington tripod. She's almost through, down to one knee.
But Nachi regathers herself and gets in front. Oh, I would not want to be up against Nachi and Defiant as a pair.
And she is through, warding lead jam going, no. I believe she was pinged for a cut and has been sent to the box. So power jam for Wellington.
A tiny little tiptoe cut, I think. Just popped out slightly by Nachi.
Velocity noticing that and sending her on her way.
Oh, beautiful.
Nicely down the inside by the Wellington jammer.
I think assisted with a bit of harm assist offence for Kiwi. Kiwi communicating with her pack as she approaches. Getting those birthday points.
Southern jammer standing in the box, rejoining now. Looking for the call from the bench is the Wellington jammer. Told to continue on at this stage.
Harm assist, Tinopai and Nachi. A beautiful strong tripod at the front
Oh, a sneaky move around the outside and she's away.
Kiwi is a very versatile skater, able to make decisions on the fly and quite
Shows good track awareness by these skaters.
very strong Kiwi.
Well, this has been a fantastic jam for her and her team. She has clawed out 16 points already and we've still got over 20 seconds left in the jam. Tries the big side step and no, she's been pushed out over the sideline.
Beautiful recycling from Southern there. Psychedelic hat.
Exactly what you want your blockers to do. Just tip them out over and recycle them back. We haven't had a panty pass there. The ref's going into a review here.
We've got 2 Southern blockers in the bin at the moment and 1 Wellington blocker in the bin.
So having a busy old time in the penalty box this morning. Get the NSOs all warmed up for later games today. What about you, Sneaks? Have you been a skater in the past, or you skate now? Or?
I have indeed. I love skating. Nothing brings me more joy. I broke my ankle last year and have had quite a time coming back from that. Also, Derby consumes you, as anyone who does it will know.
It does, yes. No, I'm a Derby widow. I know all about that consumption.
I've got a few other kettles on the boil in my life, so just reassessing my involvement. But I've been helping to coach our quad goals intake, our new skaters, which I really love. We've had a really good intake this year. I think the popularity of roller skating in general and people deciding to try new things after this challenging year has meant that we've got a lot of keen skaters coming up in Wellington, which is neat.
Excellent, excellent.
But yes, I love skating.
As Mr. Burns from The Simpsons would say, excellent. Excellent.
Exactly.
Like
what about you? Talk to me about your Derby involvement, Matt.
No, just dragged in through partner being a Derby skater.
Excellent.
Yep.
We love it.
Done a bit of everything, done a bit of watching, done a little bit of benching, and now
behind the mic.
I was asked to do Slam Rock and Rotorua a few years ago as an MC, and I quite enjoy MCing, so I think I've found my spot.
Nice.
They want me to MC, I'll MC, not I'll sit in the crowd and watch, or stay home and play with my dog, which was my favourite pastime.
That's one of my favourite pastimes too.
My little girl, Wave.
Oh, nice. My dog's called Mayo. She's 9 months old.
Oh, mine's just over 2.
Excellent. Bit of fur baby chat here on the stream, keeping it thoroughly professional.
She's at home with her popper today, being babysat or babysitting him, whichever way it goes.
Nice.
So I look forward to seeing her later this evening.
Nerdiator on the line has a dog. A lovely dog called Alfred. Loves a skate, does Alfred?
Yeah, Wave likes her food and her ball.
Of course.
If there's a tennis ball, she's not interested in anything else other than that ball. So just a slight delay here. Hopefully we'll be back underway.
There's an official timeout underway.
So just looking at the score of that last jam, a 20-point jam for Wellington.
Nerdiator up against
So that's
Wuss and Boots.
certainly the highest jam of the day so far. Yesterday I think we got up to 28 in games I was emceeing, was the highest individual score in one jam
It's
yesterday.
hard to get many more points than that just in the time.
So I think that was actually Wuss and Boots, to be honest.
Bloody impressive. Nerdy and Wuss fighting to get through, and Nerdy is the winner.
Off she goes.
If anyone's watching from Germany, hello from Nerdy.
And of course, let's be honest, you're in the semi-final, you don't want to ruin it now. You're only a matter of one game away from the grand final.
Nerdy zigging and zagging.
And a penalty sent there to the Southern blocker, so off goes.
Southern crash unit off to the bin. Serious crash unit, sorry. My brain's on the old regions here.
Come on, Sneak, you're supposed to be the onto it one. I'm the hairy-fairy one.
We can take turns.
Starts talking about teams that aren't even playing and, you know, just, yeah, all sorts of silly carry on.
Evil Knievel lining up. If you've seen Wellington's game yesterday and remember Furious George, Evil Knievel is Furious George's sister-in-law.
Ah.
Bit of family rivalry there.
One way to keep you motivated at family dinners.
Indeed.
And Wellington take lead jam again with a sneaky move around the outside.
Flying Kiwi.
Coming up to the back of the pack already. Have they noticed she's there?
Hoping to take advantage of the pack.
I don't think they're even looking. Bit of offensive play coming in from the Wellington blockers. And she's up the inside line and calls the jam.
Meaning they'll start the next jam with a pack advantage. We've got two blockers standing for Southern. So they will be ready to hoon back on and join Bionic Ninja. And maybe that's Degenerate. Bounty Hunter. And Gory MF Taylor wearing the star for the first time today.
So is it the
for
first
Southern.
jam for Gory today?
It is indeed.
Yes.
Bounty Hunter
Wellington have her well and
on her
truly,
scoring pass, sorry.
have her well and truly locked up with the Wellington jam already round on a scoring run.
Filthy playing some offense, but serious crash unit
We've
getting
had
in the way.
Had a panty pass off to Psychedelic, so she's away for Southern. And we get it called quickly before Psychedelic gets through on a scoring run. So Wellington really starting to take control of this one after an early start from Southern. 36 to Southern, 94 to Wellington.
Obviously Wellington will be happy with that. Very keen to get some points on the board, try and settle in and get comfortable, because as you know, it doesn't take too many jams to really mess with a score.
Yeah, right.
Good to cement yourselves in that first half if possible.
And we're back underway.
Evil Knievel on the track for Southern 1.
Tiptoeing all over the place, left, right, trying to get through this Wellington wall. And she falls over her own teammate there.
Was there a Wellington jammer on the track in that last jam?
I did not see one, to be honest.
Nor did I, and there wasn't one in the bin, so I'm feeling very confused.
Yeah, it looks like we're having a powwow over here again in regard to it.
Not the best way to stay ahead if you don't have a point scorer on the track, is it?
Maybe they know they've got this and they're just having a wee rest.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, a bit early in the game to get cocky.
That would be a whole new level of confidence, wouldn't it? You know
No,
what? We don't
we've
need
got this. We're saving it for the final. You guys just have a wee skate while we rest.
blockers only this jam, guys. Let's change it up.
You can have a bit of a demolition derby. If you get thrown out over the sideline, you're out. Sit down. Who's going to be last on track?
So we may have a penalty assessed to Wellington if they didn't field a jammer.
And of course, I believe that would be a captain's penalty too, wouldn't it? If it is a penalty is given.
I believe so. Nerdy is the captain for Wellington, and she's currently on the jam line, so she might be about to get a rude shock.
Take a seat. What's going to happen here? The refs seem to be coming out to their positions. So hopefully this is all sorted and we continue on with some derby. We haven't tuned in to watch referees have powwows.
We've not.
What's happening in Streamland there? Any interesting comments coming through? Bit of support for Gory there in the chat.
Let's go, Gory. Let's get it. Gory and Nerdiator lining up. Or are they? Well, they are lining up, but we just don't seem to be doing anything yet.
Jam timer watching her stopwatch. Oh, there we
Camera
go.
off.
5-second call, so we're about to get back underway. Gory slamming straight into that Wellington wall.
As Nerdy quick steps it up the outside line.
And she is away for Wellington.
She's ready to hunt down some points.
Southern don't seem to be looking. She might sneak away through here. And she is almost not quite straight through, but through pretty quick.
Yes, pass is made from Gory to 666 Ziggy Stardust, the Southern pivot.
So we did see Stardust do a couple of quick jams yesterday.
Gory is assessed a penalty, heading off to the box.
And Wellington haven't called it. They've continued it on. So a chance here for Southern to score a couple of points. Maybe they think they've got the upper hand here and going to continue on.
Nerdy's being encouraged to carry on by her bench. So carry on she will.
So Wellington obviously showing a lot of confidence in their blockers to hold back the Southern jammer.
Just heard a whistle go though. Let's see if the confidence is misplaced. We might be about to lose someone to the bench. Indeed, Defiant off to the bench.
So Wellington Southern jammer being recycled, being held back nicely here. Pushed again out over the sideline and again recycled back.
Nerdy remaining in bounds with a deft little back bend there.
Yeah, Nerdy having a bit of trouble getting through now.
She's had it. She's calling it.
That's enough. Someone else can have a crack. I'm going to take a seat.
5 minutes remain in the first half of the first game of day 2 of Regional Rumble in Taupo, the central North Island of Aotearoa. Sneaks and Matt on the microphones.
Yes.
Yeah. Saying stuff about what we see.
Now, of course, if you know anything about Taupo, you'd know it's surrounded by one of the largest lake, well, the largest lake in New Zealand, but it's also got a dirty secret. It is one of the top 3 most explosive volcanoes in the world. So can our derby today match up to Lake Taupo?
We're a volatile little nation here in New Zealand. Lots of
We
energy
certainly
under
are.
the earth. Oh, Dex on the inside. Beautiful awareness there and a nice little spin.
And she's away, lead jam for Wellington.
Closely followed by Whisson Boots. Half
Looked
a
like she
track
was getting ready for the
behind.
penny pass, but decided to keep it.
Dex calling
Balls
it.
jam.
Obviously had her ears open to her bench.
So Wellington seem to have the measure of the Southern team at the moment. Whisson Boots not quite having the success she was yesterday, but still doing her best, fighting hard.
Our current score 114 to Wellington and 44 to Southern 1.
Quite surprised at the score.
I was expecting a closer game. As
Never
do
know,
I.
we're still only in the first half. They might go back to the changing rooms at half time, have a rethink and come back out firing and give Wellington a run for their money in the second.
Let's not count any chickens, eh? Evil Kane Evil jamming for Southern, flying Kiwi. wearing the star for Wellington. Scooting around the outside.
And through for lead.
Evil Kane, Evil.
Following close
Beautiful.
behind. Trying her best to catch up to the Wellington jammer. And she's doing a good job at this at the moment. They both come up to the back of the pack.
Evil taking
And Evil
advantage
gets
of that
through.
gap.
And I think she has got the full 4 points.
Indeed she has.
So a bit of a late call off there by Wellington.
I'd like to see that match up again. Kiwi and Evil. Fem taking to the track for
A
Southern.
nice one-legged dart up the inside line there.
Bounty Hunter jamming for Wellington.
Major taking a nice little stroll across the track here. No doubt reffing later in the afternoon for us.
And we're rolling. Fem looking to find a gap on the inside. Bonnie doing the same. Pax determined not to let the opposition jammer past. Lovely tripod
both
from Southern
tripods
here.
working well. And Violent Femme is through.
With a little
Waterbury
hop.
jam. Coming back up to the pack for her scoring run. Are they looking? Down she goes, tipped out over the inside line, recycled back. Takes on the Wellington tripod.
Lens Flare, Tough Bickies and Tino Pai holding on to that jammer, who's driving hard. Making holes in the pack.
Violent Femme is finally through. Having a good old battle with this Wellington tripod.
Bounty Hunter working hard. Being held up by Serious Crash Unit, I think.
Oh, big contact there exiting turn 2. Violent Femme really taking it to this Wellington team. And she is through again for her team. This is what Southern desperately need.
Tino Pai heading to the bin for Wellington.
Comes through again. Gets slapped out over the sideline. Get out of here, say Wellington.
Got stung by the sting.
Oh, and a big sandwich there.
Bit of pinball in there.
Trying to recycle the jammer back and got caught out by a blocker.
Fem just persistently knocking holes in the wall.
So this is a good jam for Southern. Femme doing a great job.
Going for the inside, but
Looks like she might have tripped over her own player there.
Indeed she did.
And we have 2 in the box now. So we're in power jam for Southern.
Bounty
But only
Hunter.
4 seconds left in the jam, so we're about to get it called. And there's the call. So a 15-point jam there for Violent Femme, taking her team up to 63, but leading the way is Wellington with 117. And we're up to jam 21 with 6 seconds on the clock. So one final jam prior to halftime.
Official review underway. Called by the yellow team, Wellington.
So what do you think of your team's effort so far in this first half? Sneak, give us a rundown.
I'm really impressed. I've seen a lot of cohesion and good communication. The team's been training together a lot, and it shows, I think. There's been some great pair work in our blocking, some great reforming. I'm feeling pretty pleased. Very impressed.
And of course that is some of the problem with COVID-19. Some teams, some teams have been training, some teams have been training and playing, and some teams haven't been doing anything. So there was question marks over match rust or wheel rust, ring rust, whatever you want to call it, coming into this weekend's tournament.
And we've all just been tentatively hoping that this tournament was able to go ahead. Of course, our alert levels are subject to change at any time, basically, depending on numbers of COVID in the country. So
It is, yes. So if you see someone coughing, throw them out quick.
we're really grateful to be able to play and very fortunate. There are very few cases of COVID in the community at the moment. Cool. This is official reviews just being used as a timeout, just to get a little bit of a breather.
Timeout with 6 seconds left on the clock. Who wasn't watching the scoreboard clock? Trying to extend the intermission slightly. 6 seconds and it's half time. Maybe the tactic is we're going to do a full 2-minute jam and they want their jammer as fresh as possible. Close off the half with a bang, so to speak.
I expect to see some fire from Southern after half-time.
Well, of course, it is a power start to Southern.
It is indeed, with Bounty Hunter in the box for Wellington and the pivot in the box for Southern.
And that is Wilson Boots we've got jamming for Southern. The team really need to get in here and give her some good offence and get her through.
Of course, Wellington only needing to focus on defence at the moment.
But Wellington are showing their class at the moment. The Wellington block is not being able to assist her, and she's out over the sideline.
Trying to stay in.
But it did give her other blockers enough time to form a tripod in front of her.
Bounty Hunter scooting around the outside.
We've had a panty pass to Serious Crash Unit. So no lead jammer here, so we are going to go for a full 2 minutes in this final jam. I did call it. I said we're going to get a 2-minute jam. I didn't think I was psychic. Maybe I am. So Serious Crash Unit coming through down the start-finish straight for Southern on a scoring run for her team.
Number 43, Psychedelicat from Southern being assessed a cut track penalty heading to the box.
So both jammers right on each other now. Will they have a little ding-dong battle all on their own? Having a little chat there. Both jammers looking a little bit tired this late in the half. Pack speeds up a bit, making it a little bit more difficult for the jammers to catch. Down goes Serious Crash Unit.
Recycled by Kiwi.
And Wellington through again for another 4.
Kiwi again dragging Serious Crash Unit back.
And into a solid Southern tripod.
Goes Bounty Hunter.
Holding her hard against the outside line there. Doing a good job. And there we go, folks. That is first half of semi-final number 1 done and dusted.
The second half will begin with one Wellington blocker in the bin. Defiant assessed a multiplayer in the dying seconds of that jam.
So we are going with a 15-minute intermission today and a half-time score of 131 to Wellington, 74 to Southern.
Sneaks and Matt signing off for a bit of hydration, I reckon. Bit of a rest.
And we'll see you shortly. Matt Sneaks. And we are back for the second half of semi-final number 1 here at the 2020 Regional Rumble.
Yes, indeed we are. We're ready.
Teams are just doing their final little chants, and we will be back underway with Matt and the Sneaks.
Sneaking past you or sitting down talking about derby. It's all the same to me. We'll be starting with one Wellington blocker in the bin, otherwise a clean slate.
And they are coming straight out with Wilson Boots, probably their most successful jammer for Southern this weekend.
Matched up against Nerdiator.
So again, Southern in red, Wellington in yellow. And away we go.
They're rolling, both jammers looking for the inside line, not having any luck.
Wilson Boots trying down the inside line, but gets caught up in that tripod. They are recycling her back.
Shut down by Nachi and Tino Pai.
Nerdiator having the same difficulty trying to get through the Southern pack, but she is closer to the front than Wilson Boots at this point.
Still trying to poke some holes in this
One
wall.
blocker left and underway.
Off we go.
Smith gives the signal for lead jam.
Wilson Boots still working hard on that Wellington wall.
Wellington have come through for the first points of the second half. Wilson Boots finally through. Thought about the panty pass, but no, continues on as jammer for Southern. Big contact there by the Wellington jammers and the Southern blocker. Of course, this is the game for you, Sneaks. Your team of Wellington. Mine's coming up next. Strong supporter of the Bay of Plenty side.
Bit of the old bop. Boppity bop bop.
Yes, bop bop.
I loved their chant yesterday.
I thought it was pretty corny.
Oh,
But
I love a bit of
who am
corny
I to
cheese.
talk about corn? I had plenty of that yesterday.
Corn is my favourite vegetable, I hope you know. It's so versatile.
And we have serious crash unit out there for Southern. Tries that inside line.
Flying Kiwi.
As flowing down the inside and off.
Serious crash unit also out of the pack.
Someone has forgot to tell her that Kiwis actually don't fly. But she is proving them wrong at this point. And a massive hit.
Big impact there. Absorbed by Kiwi, who smiles it off.
They build him tough in the capital.
Just a little birthday present from Southern for Kiwi.
Yeah, happy birthday. There we go.
Evil Knievel and Nerdiator lining up.
Getting the call from the jam timer.
Arm assist,
And
heading
we
to the
do
bin.
have a blocker in the bin for Wellington. Last minute panic to get one of their blockers off the track.
Some warming up going on in the background. I think too fast, too southern, too furious. Too south, too
I won't
furious?
even mention what that sounds like. Someone's torturing a cat out the back there, but
Oh, Nerdy stepping, hopping up the inside line.
and away for lead jam for Wellington. So Wellington continuing on as they did in the first half of this game,
Evil
dominating
Knievel
Southern at this point.
out of the pack now. But won't get the chance to put any points on the board.
Wellington closed the door on the Southern jammer, so no score there for Southern.
A cool 4 points to Nerdiator there.
And 74 to 144 total score.
As Clear the Decks and Wuss and Boots line up on the jam line. Two in the bin at the moment for Wellington, so Southern starting this jam with the pack advantage. Be hoping to make the most of that.
And that is a nice pack advantage when you've got two blockers in the bin.
Heck yes it is.
And
Oh,
Wuss and Boots almost straight down the inside, but they managed to tag her and recycle her right back.
foiled at the last minute by Tough Bickies and Lens Flare.
That's as close as you can get to the cigar without getting it. And she's around the outside, Wuss and Boots. She's come out firing in the second half and claims lead jam. Tearing around the track, she's back up to the pack. Oh, inside apex jump and, well, doesn't quite land it, but carries on her way.
Doesn't quite land it, but still carries it off with
She
style.
landed it on her
It
backside.
was very cool.
Trying it again, and,
Wellington.
well, she's through again.
Wellington pivot, Nachi picking up the star.
Gets crowded by the pack, though, as she was trying to get to her feet, and looks like she has been sent to the box. So power jam here for Wellington.
So we'll be going for another 55 seconds.
Full 2-minute jam here.
Nachi calling for offense from her team.
Of course, as you all know, if you are lead jam, you get sent to the box. It is good night. You lose your power to call the jam at your will. This is a good one for Wellington. Power jam is always a good way to stack some points on.
Nachi working hard to flip around the front, but Violent Femme having none of it.
The Violent Femme certainly proving her worth for this team as a jammer and a blocker.
Very versatile, but unfortunately picking up a penalty there.
Ah, she's just having a little rest.
It's the
The
price.
nearest convenient seat.
It's the price you pay for getting in the way, I think.
It is, yep.
You've got to hustle, and sometimes that means
At
a
the end of the day,
penalty.
you just got to forget the penalties, because if you worry about those, you won't play your true game.
beautiful performance from Nachi there. Can be a bit freaky getting handed the star.
16 points she put on for her team. But Wuss and Boots claiming 9 herself. So not a total loss there for Southern. Looks like we've got 2 South, 2 Furious warming up out the back here, as well as Bay of Plenty getting ready for that 10 o'clock matchup, semi-final number 2.
As Flying Kiwi and Serious Crash Unit get the jam underway.
And Crash Unit straight to the back of the strong Wellington tripod. She does have a height advantage of them, but at this point they are certainly dominating her. She is finally through, but Wellington do have lead.
Kiwi looking for the inside, but being solidly stopped by the southern wall.
The packs in this game are certainly proving to be tough for the jammers to get through.
Multiplayer block being assessed.
Who was that sent to?
That was on
1337?
Degenerate of Southern.
Well, I guess that's what you get for having a name like Degenerate. You need to be punished.
We're underway. Nerdiator and Evil K Neville are your jammers for this jam. Evil doing some strong pushing there. Working hard on the tripod, but being knocked down as Nerdy takes lead jammer status.
Nerdy been quite successful in her jams, getting lead quite regularly.
She's really good at making opportunities and taking them.
Oh, and solid contact there in turn number 2. Neither player giving an inch. Kane Evil finally through for Southern.
Hoping to get some points on the board.
Will we see a call from Wellington before she gets through?
No, she is sent to the bin. Eva will be looking to capitalise on this for sure.
Southern need to take advantage of these power jams. Try and claw some of this score back. We're almost in double figure lead for Wellington.
It's beautiful to see Evil Kane Evil managing to push, whether she's forward facing or backwards facing. She just never wants to give up that momentum.
She's looking a little bit tired in this one.
Rightly
Hands
so.
on hips as she came down there.
Of course, she played the last game of the night yesterday.
And she is through. She's got through.
Southern team trying to hold up our blocker Defiant.
Right royal bar fight going on the back of the pack here. Little apex jump there from Knievel. This Southern wall at the back of the pack here doing well. Holding, no, she's up the inside, the Wellington jammer. Gets dumped out over the inside line. No respect showing there for the Southern jammer. So we're already 10 minutes into the second half. Jam
Southern
number 6 completed, 95 to 164.
That was a solid jam from Evil Kane Evil.
Oh, just a slight alteration to the points there. 168 for Wellington. 95 for Southern.
Power jam start to Southern here for Serious Crash Unit. Let's see what she can make of it.
And she just
Juke to
plows
the
her way
outside.
through. Throwing blockers to the side as she does.
Beautiful work on the outside, using those long legs to step around.
Certainly got a height advantage over a lot of players, the Serious Crash Unit. She plows into the Wellington tripod yet again. Around the outside, can they push her out over? No, she is through for another 4.
As Flying Kiwi flies to the bin. And Nerdiator returns to the track, playing a little bit of jammer offence.
Wellington seem to be tag teaming in and out of the penalty box at the moment.
Indeed. They'll be wanting to keep a lid on that.
Oh, she's going to get pushed
beautiful
out over
work
the
from
inside
Fem
line.
on the
Yep.
inside line.
Well, Violent Femme certainly one of the star players for Southern over this weekend so
So
far.
consistent. Gorgeous tripod from Southern here. Nerdy unable to find any momentum. But here come her team to offer a bit of
Here
offense.
comes
And she takes
Serious
it.
Crash Unit again.
But does she? Because Fem is all up in the way again.
Here we go. Serious crash unit meeting a wall of yellow. No way through at this point.
30 seconds left in this jam. It's called. I thought it was no lead jam situation. I'm losing my mind.
Someone will find it for you. Don't worry about it.
If they don't,
It's only one hall. It'll be here somewhere.
Whiston Boots and Bounty Hunter getting ready to jam
So
a lane.
only 9 points to Southern there. I must have miscounted. I thought they might have got a little bit more than 9. What's happening in the world of Streamland?
Bounty Hunter assessed lead and manages to stay in bounds.
Sounds like someone's trying to crack a funny joke. Someone doesn't think it's funny.
Classic. Violent Femme has taken the star for Southern.
The Streamland having a private joke in the chat there. Back to Derby.
Bounty Hunter calling off the jam, locking the points in. Unfortunately, also locking one of her blockers in the bin. Filthy is sitting in the penalty bin.
So Wellington at this point with a 68-point advantage. Certainly looking good. We're closing in on the half-time mark of the second half.
They'll be wanting to keep an eye on those penalties.
Yeah, they've certainly been in and out of there. It's a bit of a train station at the moment.
An advantage becomes much less of one when you're down a couple of skaters.
We don't want to see the Foul Out Express depart the station.
We do not. Always a sad time. First game of Derby I ever played, I fouled out by cutting, because I was still figuring out what that meant.
Okay, yeah.
But I tell you what, you learn pretty quick when you foul out on the one rule.
How far through the game?
Oh, second half.
Second half?
Yeah, but
Oh,
halfway,
that's all right.
halfway
That's
through
okay.
the second half. And I knew that I was doing it, but I couldn't figure out how not to do it. Believe it or not, it takes a bit of skill to be hit off the track, recover yourself, and figure out who was in front of you at the time you were hit off.
It's that all-important track awareness in it, you know, knowing exactly what's going on and who's where.
You need a certain amount of proficiency and, awareness before you even think about that stuff. There's a lot to it, of course, learning to skate and then learning to play the game.
So we're having another powwow in the middle of the track. I'm sure it's just the refs wanting to have a break themselves and get some attention on them.
A lot of focused chat happening in the Wellington bench and the Southern bench.
So believe it or not, we're in day 2 and we're almost through the first semi-final of the day between Wellington and Southern, with Wellington having what you could say at this point is a reasonably commanding lead.
We are seeing some very strong, cohesive blocking from Southern. They seem to have figured out the jammers a little bit more, the yellow jammers.
Can't take it away from Wellington. Of course, that yellow wall is strong.
Indeed it is. Evil Knievel on the line.
All I can see is Smith back at the moment.
Against
There we
Kiwi.
go. She moves away. I can now see the jammers.
Kiwi looking for that front and finding it.
Evil Knievel boxing her way through and chases down the Wellington jammer.
Furious
back.
from Evil.
Someone's been penalised there. Straight down the inside and calls it. Great move there. Evil Knievel not getting anything for Southern. The jam was called in time. And Wellington have another player in the bench. Well, I hope their bench is keeping a good eye on those penalties.
It's Filthy returning to the bench for the second time this half.
Serious crash unit back out for Southern, straight down the inside into lead jam position. Nice move by her there.
Nachi taking the star for Wellington. Serious crash unit gets
Crashes
those
through
points.
again. Oh. That was a bit of a strange move by Crash there. Did she think she got called or pinged?
I think the lines on the track are also quite confusing.
They are. I've walked around the track myself and it's like, where is this going? Bit of an angle here, not quite parallel to the grandstand. Unfortunately, it's what we had to do to make the track fit into the space we have available here at the Taupo Event Centre.
Nachi is hit out, tries to make her way back.
And serious. Crash Unit is getting serious in this one. She is really hauling in those points for Southern. Does a little shimmy, but gets pushed out over the side.
Strong drive from Serious Crash Unit.
The pack seems to be right royally bunched up at the moment. They need to spread this out to make it easier for their jammers to get through.
Oh, Nachi getting a beautiful hit from Degenerate there.
Carnage on the main straight.
Oh, Degenerate receives a penalty. That was a messy old jam, wasn't it?
It certainly was, but good points for Southern.
Thank you, Fatty Bombetti, suggesting we stop saying powwow. It's got a specific meaning and it's not applicable here. Wussin Boots lining up against Nerdiator. Hopping and a skipping at the front of the pack there. Nerdy is assessed a forearms penalty.
And she's off to the naughty corner. So a good power jam here at a good time for Southern to try and claw some of these points back. 119 to 184 at this stage of the game.
Beautifully staying in bounds there.
But really struggling to get past. Trying the inside line, trying back to the outside. This wall of yellow is just relentless on Wussin Boots.
Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous offense and assisting there from Violent Femme.
Wussin Boots getting taken all the way back. Wellington Jammer back on track here. Wussin Boots is through.
With a smile, always feels good. Oh, beautiful. Southern Wall is really finding its way.
Should just say that, she's through.
Wussin Boots getting stuck on Sting and Bickies, which is not an enviable position.
But she has certainly not given up. I think she's starting to feel it though. These hits and big blocks have taken its toll on these jammers. Tries down the inside line, bit of success there, gets another big whack. Great performance by Wussin Boots this weekend, but the Wellington block is certainly showing no mercy on her.
Flying Kiwi and Evil K Neville getting ready for the next jam.
Another discussion going on with the refs here.
Team timeout, but the officials are taking a moment to have a yarn as well. Oh no, sorry, I can see a little, is that an official signal being made? Official review being called by Red. Maybe not.
Interesting to see what this is about. Doesn't really seem to be any serious discussion, just general chit chat. So I hope everyone out in Streamland this morning is enjoying the coverage of the first semi-final. With just a little over 12 minutes left to play in the second half. Southern in red up against Wellington in yellow, with 123 to 192 on the scoreboard. Wellington leading. And we get ready to get back underway. A lot of push and shove as they go into turn number 1.
Evil Kane Evil looking for that inside.
And she's got it.
Finding it.
So a good successful line for her. And she is running away, but the Wellington Jammer out now as well. Only a third of the track behind and gaining.
Wellington making the pack run
So
fast.
what are we going to see
stopping.
here from the Wellington bench?
Oh, yes, Evil. Taking a whip.
Wellington continued on, no call here.
Daisy daggers.
The Wellington Jammer has come through the pack first. So even though they do not have lead, they are back out in front on the scoring runs. She's going to come up again. It gets called just before she gets around. So not a good jam there for Wellington. Having lead, but losing on the scoreboard with that one. It's like serious crash unit back out there for Southern. Who's on the outside over there? Sneaks, can't
We've
quite
got
see.
Bounty Hunter lining up for Wellington.
Bounty Hunter. Can she claim a bounty on serious crash?
Let us see.
Serious crash unit stuck in the middle of that Wellington wall again. Around the outside comes Bounty, but up the inside comes serious crash unit for lead.
Someone on the stream asking if these are A teams or B teams. Neither is the answer. These are teams made up especially for this tournament by people who are keen to play derby from all different regions
And
of New Zealand.
representing their various regions. Yeah.
Indeed.
You
So
could
we
say rep teams.
Yep, we definitely have A team and B team skaters here.
Mix of all grades, you could say.
But it's more about just doing some derby. Serious crash unit caught on a 2-wall here,
And
but
she's
pushes
through.
them out. And Pounder's off to the bin, quarter pounder for Wellington.
That's 2 blockers in the bin at the moment, although one's about to be released.
That's a jammer, the other one. So Bounty was in the bin. Now she's coming out.
It is 2, you are correct.
Oh, beautiful work from Serious Crash Unit there. Finding her way around Lens Flare as Bounty Hunter.
She has knocked up 12 points already for her team in this jam with over 48 seconds to go. If she can continue to get through, we might see a nice high score of the morning. And she is through again for her team.
Having a beautiful jam, Serious Crash Unit.
Hands on knees, feeling it a little bit maybe in this one. She's had to do a power of work for her team.
Oh, beautiful. Just smoothly taking that inside line.
Sip the latte on the way through on that one. Come on, Crash, 13 seconds, another 4, away you go, come on.
Get some points.
Suck in
Bounty
those
doing
deep
a
breaths.
beautiful side surf around there.
And she's got at least 3.
Times
One
2.
more. And she is through before the jam gets called. So a 24-point jam there for Serious Crash Unit.
Wow.
That deserves an applaud, I think.
That was brilliant.
Well done, Serious Crash Unit. So 151 to 204. Wellington have cracked the double hundy.
The old double hundy.
The double hundy.
Nice. Clear the decks, lining up against Wuss and Boots. 2 red blockers in the bin.
Oh, and straight through.
Dex makes short work of it, making the most of that pack advantage.
And Wilson Boots still trapped back there, right at the back of the pack. Wellington doing a great job holding her back.
Defiant and Harm Assist at the back there.
Oh, and the big shunt out over the sideline.
Clear the decks is recycled.
And we've had a panty pass, have we?
Oh, she's not recycled, she's penalised. Power jam here.
Yep, Corey taking over from the pivot position into jammer. Gory comes up on the tripod and smashes her way through. Well, tries to. But it is meant with just as much aggression.
Nachi fiercely blocking with palm assist.
Nowhere to go here for Gory.
Or is there?
One
Round the
blocker and that way.
outside.
Oh, here we go. Push, push.
Nice chase by Harm assist.
Manages to stay inside the lines. Oh, and a big one down. Oh, this is not looking too good.
No.
Big one down here. Skaters will take a knee.
Cool. Awesome.
We've had a good tournament in regard to injuries.
It has been good.
Only one small one last year with our director, who decided to come and have a game last night and got a bit winded, got a bit smacked, but she's feeling a bit better today.
Always.
A bit sore, but she's okay.
Always swift action on the injuries, which is good to see.
Unfortunately, it's part of our sport. This kind of contact on wheels, it's going to happen from time to time.
It is indeed. We do our best to avoid it, of course,
We do.
but we can't always be so lucky.
She came down a bit awkwardly on that right-hand shoulder. Just coming up.
7 minutes remaining in this game. Southern have managed to close that gap a little bit. There's been some beautiful blocking from the Southern team.
Oh, both teams.
Can report our
Absolutely
down
blocking.
skater is up and on skates, which is great to see. So
Be
track action
checked
will
out by
resume
the
shortly.
medics, just for safety concern. We'll give her some wheat bix and she'll be back on her way. Feeling the chills again. Someone must have a door open. A bit chilly this morning here in Talbot. Chilly Sunday morning. It's been raining overnight.
Indeed. Baddie Longlegs was
Okay,
the skater who went down.
We're in big trouble if we're talking about the weather, Sneaks. It's only game number 1.
It's very topical, Matt. The people must know what is happening with the weather. Yesterday, I didn't know what was happening with the weather, so I didn't go outside.
It was doing pretty much everything, I think.
There was. We had
Heard
rain,
some-
we had sun.
Heard some raindrops on the roof last night.
We're
and
back.
here we go.
Evil Knievel and Flying Kiwi
And just
hustling.
slams into a solid yellow wall and nowhere to go. She has a ticket to nowhere.
Oh, she has a ticket to the lead jammer is what she has.
Just won the lotto there. And off for Southern. Coming up on the pack already. Tries that middle line. Ducks down the inside, up on her toe stops.
Flying Kiwi now out of the pack. Tough Bickies.
Oh,
Doing her best.
nice balancing act there by Evil Knievel.
Who calls off the jam. But not before Kiwi can score a point, I don't think.
Did she sneak one in there?
No, perhaps not.
No.
That's a
All right,
no.
Smith says
Solid
no. And Smith is the boss. Smith says no, she means no. There's no arguing with it.
It is tomorrow in New Zealand. I'd like to report to those of you who are in Saturday. Hello from the future.
It is Sunday morning.
We've been through Saturday, can report it went fine. Well, it actually went great. It was a wonderful day of Derby, but
It's a serious crash unit back out there for Southern. Can she repeat her last jam effort? Southern certainly need it.
24 points it was in the last, wasn't it?
That gap is closing just slightly.
With
But still
6 minutes remaining.
45-point lead to the Wellington team. So this can be hauled back in, especially if we're getting 24-point jams by serious crash unit. And who have we got? Is it Bounty on the outside or who have we got?
It is Nerdy.
Nerdy?
Nerdiator.
How do we get a name like Nerdiator? What's the story behind that?
Very good question. I don't have an answer. Nerd has just always been nerd
Shall we
to
just
me.
make it up, shall we? Fake news, fake news. I'm sure Americans can relate to that. Fake news.
Here we are. Jammers poised. Blockers sucking back. Nerdy looking for a hole on the outside. Pushing,
Southern
pushing,
players
pushing.
have gone down. Looks like they have the measure of serious crash unit in this one. Nerdy out for lead jam for Wellington.
Psychedelicat being sent to the bench. Serious crash unit laying a little hit on Nerdy.
Does it well, but she's still struggling with this Wellington tripod. There is just no letting up at the moment by
We've got
Wellington.
Harm Assist, Defiant and Nachi there, with Filthy playing some offence.
Well, they certainly get a gold star at this point for blocking.
Indeed.
Nerdy's through again. So just as Southern seem to be clawing these points back, this jam could stretch that lead again for Wellington. Up the inside comes Serious Crash Unit. So she is through and away. Jam gets called.
Mediator calling off the jam.
Having none of that.
No, thank you. We'll stop it there.
It's a serious crash after a serious point score in her last jam. Left scoreless in this one.
4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Wuss and Boots and Flying Kiwi lining up. Sneaks and Matt thinking about their next snack.
Love that name, Wuss and Boots. Wuss and Boots.
It's a good one, isn't it?
I think it's fantastic.
I'm here for the puns. It's the main reason. Flying Kiwi to the in, then the out, then hit out.
Oh, big tumble there.
That's going to be a penalty assessed, I believe, to lens flare, possibly for a low block
off
there.
to the bench.
Flying Kiwi being dragged back by Bionic Ninja.
And it was Gory that went down.
Kiwi finds her way out of the pack and takes lead jammer status.
Almost half a minute in before we got a lead jammer there. Have we had a panty change or just... No, still Wuss and Boots.
Still Wuss.
Jammers like to take that panty off and tease the opposition with a potential panty pass.
Kiwi holding on to that jam for as long as possible to get the time down on Lens Flare, who's stuck in the box. Seeing some really swift and strategic moves from the blockers on both teams. I guess after almost a full bout, they've figured each other out a bit. It's really exciting to see. Evil Kane Evil lining up against Nerdiator.
Nerdiator down the inside line.
Hoppity skippity.
Back out to the outside. The Southern blockers have got her.
Evil nearly out the front.
Showing some serious aggression here.
But Nerdiator takes lead jammer status.
Dory having a close inspection of the floor there, making sure the track's legit.
Evil looking for the pass to Fem, who now has the star.
Gory coming in with a great block. No, but
Nerdiator
spinning through, down the inside she goes.
Evil now blocking.
Managed to get around the inside of her and block her back. Her support crew coming to back her up.
Oh.
And they're recycling her right back. So fantastic block there.
It's not an easy thing to do, to switch your mind from hard offense to hard defense. Evil is a boss, I must say.
And here we go again, one-on-one. Oh, some nice offensive play there.
Evil relentless in her defense.
And we go at it again, but no, we're going to call it. Enough of this one-on-one stuff.
Nerdiator taking Wellington's score to 220. Southern 1 on 159. Of course, coming up after this is our second bout of the day. Bay of Plenty playing against 2 South.
2 South, 2 Furious.
TJ and Matt will be bringing you the action and the laughs, I imagine. A few laughs? A few giggles,
more stupidity, more dad jokes. Yeah, more silly puns, and yeah, maybe a bit of derby in between.
Sounds like a good time. The next match is scheduled for...
We're having a good time. People on the stream not sure, but we're having a good time.
Next match is scheduled for 10. I think we have a foul out in our game.
Oh, we have had a foul out.
206, was it? Violent Femme. What a game. Props to Violent Femme.
But with 1 minute to go, does it really matter for her team?
Some would say
She
no,
has
not really.
put it all on
Doesn't
the
really
line
matter.
for her team. She's had a great game. And she gets to get in the shower, really. Take all the hot water.
The next bout is scheduled to start at 10 New Zealand time, but as it is currently 7 minutes to 10, it's likely to start a little bit late. We will be looking to turn it around as quickly as possible, I'm sure.
We could see us drop to a 10-minute interval. We'll see once the clock switches over to intermission.
So you'll have time to make yourself a little snack, get a little beverage.
Quick restroom break. And we'll be back into semi-final number 2.
Someone's asking, you have showers at derby venues in New Zealand? And I was wondering the same thing. I was like, wow, Matt, really, a shower?
Yes, no, the changing room's here. Nice changing area, toilets, plus I think there's about 5 showers in each changing room.
What a dream come true.
Quite nice facilities here at the event centre in Taupo.
Kiwi taking the out, then the in, spinning around. Psychedelic.
Whether anyone uses it is the question that needs to be asked, but they are there to be used.
Flying
what's happening on
Kiwi,
track?
Flying Kiwi making the most of this power jam as Serious Crash Unit
Comes back out now.
looks to re-enter the track.
Being recycled all the way back to the end of turn number 4. And she slams no mercy into this Wellington pack. She is showing some severe determination at the moment.
Serious Crash Unit has had a blinder of a game.
Tries the outside, ducks back down the inside. Little offense play needed here, perhaps.
Quarter Pounder and Tough Bickies holding on to Serious Crash Unit. Tino Pie joining the tripod.
Just got the measure of Serious Crash at the moment.
Bickies dropping back to bridge.
And she is finally through for Southern as Serious Crash Unit.
The Wellington team on their feet,
Screaming for it to be called because they know that is the game.
happy with the result. So does that mean we'll see Wellington in the final?
It certainly does. Wellington have bought their ticket to the grand final later this afternoon at approximately 5 p.m. New Zealand time. So we've found finalist number 1, Wellington. Sure you'll be pretty happy about that, Sneaks? You want to go over and cheer with the team?
I'm absolutely stoked. I can just cheer from here. Who will Southern face next then?
They'll go into 3rd and 4th, a loser of this next semi coming up.
Okay.
So Southern will go into 3rd and 4th, and they'll be up against the loser of Bay of Plenty versus 2 South, 2 Furious.
You'll be excited for the bop game.
What are we going to do if it's Bay versus Wellington?
We're going to have...
Shall we have a little scrap on the
some
sideline ourselves?
cordial banter with each other. Respectful disagreement is what
No,
we'll have.
that's boring. I think we should get out our handbags and have a little pre-game slap around, you know?
I will defeat you, Matt.
Bring it on, Sneaks, bring it on.
Huge thanks to our officials in that match, skating and non-skating. Huge thanks to Lee and Quaddy for bringing us the stream. Huge thanks to you, Matt. That was great fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, Sneaks.
And also huge thanks to y'all watching at home. You will get to see Bay of Plenty versus 2 South, 2 Furious.
Certainly hope you've enjoyed game number 1. And now you're in for a bit of torture because it's Matt and the TJ.
Excellent times. Let's do it.